Hello, my name is Joe Kelly and this is my plan for my social action project. So, what is social action? Social action is about raising awareness for a certain topic or issue that we in society face today. We see social action just in everyday life, whether it be posters or adverts or billboards. As well as that, we also see it in the media, whether it be hashtags or Instagram posts or on Snapchat, a multitude of ways of seeing social action. And it gave me a lot to think about when planning this project. So how could I make it? So the first thing I thought about was a moving image, whether this be a social action short film or documentary tackling a certain issue or problem that people in society are currently facing today. As well as that, I thought about print, making a set of leaflets or posters that people could gain some information from, make it a bit more stylised, a bit more fun to look at and to read. I also looked at radio, maybe like a small 5-minute radio section where we get some people to come on and speak about their views. People may not be able to say their views or speak for themselves, normally. As well as that, a small advertisement for, something that only could be really heard with you in during radio. I also thought about the difference between raising money for something versus raising awareness. And whilst researching kind of the different projects, ones that really spoke to me weren't the ones raising money, like Children Need a Donkey Sanctuary, but instead ones raising awareness for something. Like the United Pillars of Benetton is something that we all looked at, and it really hit me when I found this big provocative image, and it's really raising awareness for equality and kind of unity in the world today. So I have a small moving image example for us to watch. So.
Have you witnessed anything like this? Anybody can report this behaviour.
Hey guys, can I get a hand for a sec?
I thought you late readers are supposed to be as good as that play.
No matter how subtle,
Hey Princess, where's your tiara today?
they are all forms of sexual-based harassment. If you know someone's prejudices have got out of hand or have become inappropriate, do something about it.
Okay, there's another one, but it's basically the same video. So here are some key moments I found through that video that I thought were pretty effective, kind of showing title about the campaign, different moments, and I like how they have just shown it homophobia at work or in sport, and then kind of like an actual example of homophobia kind of in the world today. And I thought this was something that I really kind of thought about by doing moving image. So next would be a print example. Example 1, this really affected me. I thought it was brilliant how it's like this kid and he's alone. It's like a completely white background. He's like alone from everyone. It's kind of got little price tags, something that you might find in a clothing store. And it really makes you think like, what are the actual price of clothes? And then the next, this wasn't as effective, but I thought it was really good at kind of giving information to the audience, how it is, kind of goes through different things that domestic abuse people have to go through. And what I wanted to do is try and find the sweet spot between not having too little information, which I think that tends to do, and not having a little bit too much. Finally, I looked at a radio example. The first one would be more of a kind of talk, chat show for a few minutes, maybe get a guest speaker on. And the next would be a small advertisement that people with hearing disabilities could kind of come and speak about. So a friend of mine has tinnitus, this kind of ringing in his ear, and he finds it really difficult to explain to people what he has to go through. So maybe making a small radio advertisement with the ringing can make people kind of understand more what he has to go through. So I made a quick survey where I just sort of researched into what my final idea could be. Here's one question from the survey that I asked, basically saying, what would you want to see in a social action campaign? And here's some of the data, and then from that I kind of surmised that an set of anti-drug posters would be best for this project. So what is drug addiction? So drug addiction, kind of said by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, is sort of like a mental illness, but there's a tangible, real threat there, someone to come back and be addicted to something. And there's a difference in drug addiction, drug abuse. Drug abuse is more destructive, people kind of going out of their way to like take the drugs and maybe harming people outside of themselves. And a friend of mine once had, like, his father had drug abuse and had drug addiction problems, and the one thing that he wished he could do is really educate and explain the effects of drugs more than demonise it or try and attack them. So here's sort of like a collage of different things that I had to think about to try and not seem too insensitive to people who are suffering from drugs. Okay, so my intentions for this campaign are to provoke some thought for people, to make people kind of really think about what they're doing with their bodies and what they're putting into their bodies with drugs. To do this, I'm going to make some posters, because I feel like that would be the most effective way to get across the message. And I really want to educate people. I don't want to victimise, demonise, or attack anyone. I just want to really educate people to kind of see what they're putting into their bodies. Here are some examples in the media that kind of touch upon some of the drugs that I want to include. It could be cannabis, cocaine, MDMA, and heroin. And although I think these are good examples of having these drugs, sometimes I think they tend to glamorise them more than educate them. And that's what I want to try and prevent doing, as well as preventing something worse from developing. So these are my goals. I really want everyone to talk more openly about drug and drug abuse in the UK. Because drugs really are easy to get here. We don't talk about it, but it really is. And it's not something that kind of is brought up very much in government or anything like that. And how harmful drugs can cause us as young people, because we don't really know any better, because people don't want to educate, they want to kind of attack and demonise. So here I want to actually show the drug. This is very important to me, to make somewhat of a provocative image. I think showing it what it looks like and what you'll encounter instead of trying to stylise it will be very effective. So here's some conventions of an anti-drug campaign. I think a lot of these are good and effective, but some of them I sort of want to leave in making my things, so trying to stylise imagery or having pop culture icons or celebrities. I just want to leave that and just really get down to the heart of the issue instead of trying to make like this really wacky poster like a snowy mountain, feel like it's cocaine, something really silly like that. So my target audience is like a group of kids to try and represent it at the ages 15 to 19, because this is really where people start to go out. 15-year-olds start to go to house parties, 19-year-olds start going to clubs, and this could be where drugs are kind of introduced into their lives. I want to teach people, I don't want to scare them. I find this post to be really cringy and really like not very good at all. It's like, that's not really going to happen to you if you take drugs. And it's trying to scare people, not really teach them. And I want to really attract people to come read it, but not condescend them. Like, life can take you higher than drugs. I think it's really silly and condescending. And I really want to get a reaction out of someone. I think this post was really effective in kind of getting a message across. So, I have a little interactive activity now. So I'm going to ask Taylor, what do you think of this first poster?
Kind of representing kind of like a zombie kind of vibe, and I think it's really, as you were saying earlier, condescending to the whole factor. I think it's not teaching them, it's more of a scaring. So I don't really like the first one, but the middle one's more, how do I say, it kind of gives you an understanding of what the point is.
Yeah.
And the middle one's definitely better for advertising.
I absolutely agree. I feel like the first one is a little bit too provocative and a little bit too like kind of just having the image and not the message. I think the second one really effective as it may not look the best in how it's designed, but overall I think it's really effective. I think the last one, however, is just the worst. It's like trying to make light of the subject on. Would you agree with that? I just think the last one.
It looks very like childish at the time towards young kids.
Yeah.
It's very CBBS.
Yeah, that's what I came when I looked at it. I thought, is that really anti-drugs? I don't feel like it's like I don't really know who the actual target audience for this poster is. So this is my poster structure. These are 4 posters I made myself, kind of like as mock-up images. I want the posters to kind of have like the title and then a small tagline of can lead to, so like just and something relevant to the drug, like drag, line, hit, pill, and then kind of lead to something. But I feel like the problem with this to me is that it is a little bit demonising, a little bit like trying to attack the drug, and that's not what I want to do. So after doing this presentation, I'm going to try and figure out and work out how I can make an effective poster without trying to hurt or anything, just really trying to educate people. So, call to action. So what I want people to do is to really go out and talk openly and plainly about drug abuse and drug addiction, how it affects their lives, and as well as how they can do it is using Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, like hashtags, making pictures, just really talking about it, and then hopefully And if people speak about that now, then TV executives, people in the media could say, well, this is what people want, this is what people are doing on social media, maybe we should think about how we represent drugs in our TV shows and programs. So the challenges I'm probably going to face are using more advanced techniques on Photoshop, because that's the main way I'm going to be making this. I didn't use Photoshop a lot last year, so I really want to kind of push myself this year. As well as just trying to find the materials to use, obviously, I can't use the real thing, as much as I'd like. But you know, you can't, so I'm going to have to try and find fake substitutes. But the main way I'm going to overcome them is just having time and effort, really paying attention, really looking into details, and also speaking to everyone here, because we are a class and we are, you know, all together. And I do think there are a lot of smart people in here. We can all help each other and all make our work really good. So thanks very much for listening. Any questions?
Apart from your survey linking to the factor of doing drug abuse or doing something on drugs as your social action, what other reasons are there for you to want to do this?
So it's mainly my friendship group. I've seen a lot of people just take drugs, take things like cocaine, MDMA, weed, and just not know what they're doing and not know put it into body. And I just think it's really sad that this is like a road that people can lead down. And instead of just being like, don't do it at all, I think a better way would just be like, this is what you're going to be putting into your body. Maybe think twice about it, or maybe try and take the right dosage. So maybe it's like my friendship group, and just trying to help them out as well, and by doing that, help out a wider actually. Yes.
What do you think that you'll use for like a substitution? There's not many things that can exactly replicate it.
No, yeah, there aren't. So the main things I'm probably going to use are, for cocaine, maybe icing sugar or just sugar in general, and then for cannabis and stuff like that, herbs, you know, maybe using like plastic. It's a hard thing to do. I'm going to have to research a lot into how television does it and how they kind of find fake substitutes. So it's going to take a little bit more research to figure out exactly what I'm going to be able to do with it.